this? 27th, isn't it?
Today.
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः नै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Pancadasi chapter 11 verse 33, and here the student is discussing, arguing, debating, whatever we may say, with the teacher as regards the Ananda. What is it there or is it not there, and can it be, is it an expression of ignorance, or is it of the nature of the Brahmananda or Atmananda? And because of his obsession with objectification, he is not able to come to a conclusion that it is his own essential nature is that of the nature of bliss. And that is the problem not only he is facing, most of the seekers also face. And here in the 31st verse the teacher said that in the deep sleep state, because there is no sorrow, therefore there is bliss. Come in. Because there is no sorrow, there is bliss. And then the student protested, how do you say I have accepted that this statement is true? The teacher said that you accept the deep sleep state, although there are neither sense organs nor a mutually acceptable example to prove your experience. Therefore, that knowledge which is gained without any means of knowledge is naturally self-illumined. You can come here if you... There's chair here. So in the deep sleep, whatever the knowledge is gained, it is free of thoughts. Sense organs don't reach there, mind doesn't reach there, intellect doesn't reach there. So how do you come to know that you had deep sleep if you never thought? So he says that this deep sleep state, the knowledge of the deep sleep state is the self-illumined, and it doesn't require any means of knowledge. And but the student, he says, even if Advaita Tattva is established in deep sleep, it does not prove that Advaita is Sukha Swarupa. He says deep sleep is Sukha Swarup, but the self is not Sukha Swarup. Still you have not been able to prove that. So for that he said, Tasmadvaita Swaprabhatve Tasmadvaita Swaprabhatve Vadasuptau Sukham Katham. 33rd. Vadasuptau Sukham Katham Shruno Dukkham Tada Nasti Shrudukham Tada Nasti Tataste Shishyate Sukham Shishyate Sukham. Let the non-duality and self-illumined nature be proved in deep sleep. How about happiness? If this is your objection, please listen. In deep sleep there is no sorrow. Hence the happiness is naturally proved for your understanding. The teacher is again telling, dekho, sometimes, see, in our daily, you're okay? Cozy. In our empirical world, we have never seen space, but how do we say presence of space? Absence of object is space, isn't it? Have you seen mind? But how do you know there is mind? Because there are thoughts flowing, therefore there is mind, isn't it? So we have never seen it. Exactly. How do we say there is bliss? Because there is no sorrow, therefore there is bliss. This is the language that is being employed. See? The student asks that in the deep sleep there is advaita or absence of duality which is self-effulgent. I agree. At last he has agreed. However, how can it be established that there is sukham in the deep sleep? How can you say that this advaita tattva, this non-dual reality, is of the nature of bliss? The teacher says, tada dukkham na asti tataha sukham te shishyate. Listen, my dear, in deep sleep there is no misery, hence what remains is sukham. What is the proof that there is no misery in deep sleep? ये भी पक्का है स्टूडेंट, हाँ ये नहीं छोड़ेगा. He says, what is the proof that there is no misery in deep sleep? Andha sannapyanandha syat. Andha sannapyanandha syat. Vidho vidhotharogyapi. Vidho vidhotharogyapi. Arogiti shruti praha. Arogiti shruti praha. Taccha sarve jana viduhu. Viduhu. He says, the teacher says, although blind in waking state, this is the student saying, although blind in waking state, he is not blind in deep sleep. Similarly, although hurt or unhealthy in waking state, is neither hurt nor unhealthy in deep sleep. Thus the scriptures have clearly declared, and so is the experience of all the people. The teacher is answering his question, what is the proof that there is no misery in deep sleep? The teacher says, even if there is a blind person, he doesn't experience his blindness in the deep sleep. If he is a rogi, if he is having some ailments, he is not experiencing those ailments in deep sleep. Why he is not experiencing any ailments? Because he is disidentified with the body and the mind. Therefore deep sleep has come. Where are the sorrows? Not in deep sleep, they are in the mind. So, in the deep sleep state, the blind man does not suffer the misery of being blind because the mind and the senses are withdrawn. This is with reference to the gross world. With reference to the subtle body, the feeling of hurt, pain, jealousy, anger, greed, ambition, depression, agitation, frustration, all this is absent. The person who is ill cannot be called as unhealthy in deep sleep because his identification with the body is absent. Taccha sarve janaha viduhu. This absence of misery is the experience of everyone. It is not for only one individual. It is the common principle for all the people. Everyone who goes into deep sleep experiences this. The teacher thus is trying to prove that wherever there is no misery, there is bliss. I gave you those 2-3 examples. Think in that manner. Absence of objects is space. Because there is thoughts, therefore there is mind. Similarly, absence of absence of sorrow or misery is equal to bliss. He says, by going by your logic, but the student is not convinced. He says, by going by your logic, all these inanimate objects must be experiencing bliss. All environment means this camera is experiencing bliss, that this chair, the carpet, the house, the bricks, the mortars, everything is experiencing bliss. न दुःखाभावमात्रेण दुःखाभावमात्रेण सुखं लोष्टशिलादिषु सुखं लोष्टशिलादिषु द्वयाभावस्य दृष्टत्वात् द्वयाभावस्य दृष्टत्वात् इति चेद्विषमं वचः विषमं वचः. By mere absence of miseries, happiness cannot be proved, the student is saying. Because in mud and stone, both joy and sorrow are absent. If this is your argument, your example and simile are not appropriate. See how he is thinking? Have you thought like this? Yeah? He says in the mud and stone there is no joy and sorrow. So is there bliss in there? Dukkha bhava matrena sukham na loshta shila adishu dvaya abhavasya drishtatvat. Just because dukkham is or sorrow is absent, it does not automatically follow that there is sukham. In objects like mud, stone, etc., both misery and bliss are absent. The teacher says, if this is your objection, it is not a correct objection. Why? Because the example that you have taken is a wrong one. The example itself is wrong. Why? Let's see. Mukha dainya vikasabhyam paradukha sukhohanam dainyadya bhavato loshte dukkhadyuho na sambhavet. The miseries and sorrows of others are inferred by the depression or the brightness on their face. In case of mud, etc., the expressions being absent, the imagination of sorrow, etc., is not possible. So how do we know a person is happy or miserable? By the expressions on the face. Can you know if someone is not expressing anything on his or her face, can you know that person is miserable or happy or not? You can't. But if you heard from someone else about some person and you go in front and that person doesn't let on anything, but in your mind, this fellow is won a lottery and he's not even showing, he's acting absolutely normal. He's acting absolutely normal. You are having the problem. That fellow is just empty. It doesn't let on anything. So how do we come to know about normal people, about their joys and sorrows? By their expression on the face and their demeanor. And that is absent in the muds and stones and bricks, etc., all the inert matter. Therefore, the example that you have given is not right. Continuing, Swakiye sukha dukkhe tu no haniye tatastayoho bhavo vedyanubhutyaiva tadbhavopi nanyatah. One's own joys and sorrows are, on the contrary, never inferred. So other people's joys and sorrows you can come to know through the expressions on their faces, right? But your own joy, for other people I may be absolutely calm and quiet. You cannot make out. But inside, something is going on. So, here the teacher is saying that with regards to your own subjective self, you don't need to infer it. In other people, we inferred from their facial expressions. But in your own case, you don't need any facial expression. It is your own direct experience. You don't need any means. Because of this, I am feeling. No, you are feeling sorrow and that's it. You are not knowing it indirectly, you are knowing it directly. The presence of joys and sorrows, that means, is known through one's own experience and not by any indirect means of knowledge such as inference, etc. And in this way, this thought is now concluded. The teacher, now the student also must not be having any other questions. He has come to the last point, that mud and stone also can be having joys and sorrows. Then does that mean? So the teacher said, nahi, ab khatam ho gaya. So now he is concluding. Tatha sati swasuptau cha dukkha bhavo no bhutitaha verodhi dukkarahityat sukham nirvignamishyatam. Having accepted the conclusion in the last verse that absence and presence of joy and sorrow in deep sleep is through one's own experience, direct experience, the absence of the miseries in deep sleep is also established by the non-experience of miseries, which is opposite of joy. Therefore, what is left is the unobstructed bliss in deep sleep, which is experienced.
Would you say our sorrow and happiness is a direct experience? Does it mean that there's no thought process involved?
Correct. No thought process. In deep sleep, there is no thought process involved.
Okay. Now the teacher trying to explain to the student about there is a bliss in the deep sleep. Is he using the means of logic to explain?
He is using the means of negation.
Negation. Okay.
Through negation.
No sorrow.
So, because there is no sorrow, whatever is left behind is bliss. And that bliss you are experiencing, that's why you want to go to sleep every night.
Yeah, okay.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you were not enjoying the deep sleep or the bliss, why would you go to sleep every night? You will be awake.
You used to ask a question, how do we know that we had a good sleep or deep sleep? It's because we are more fresh.
That is the symptom. That is the symptom.
Yeah.
When you wake up next morning,
Yeah.
that is the symptom that you had. But you know, when you wake up, yes, fresh you are, but you have a memory that were you dreaming or were you in deep sleep? If I ask you last night, did you sleep maximum time of the night or were you dreaming maximum time of the night? What will be your answer? Or were you awake throughout the night?
Okay, even by negation we can say...
No, answer this question.
Well, if it is a dream...
No, what was your experience? Not a theory. Your experience.
My experience. If I have a dream, if I remember the dream, I conclude that I didn't have a good sleep.
No, you are again... Last night, did you have a dream? No. Were you awake?
No, I had a good sleep last night.
You had a good sleep. In the deep sleep, were you thinking?
I didn't know where I am.
No.
No memory, no thoughts.
No thoughts, right? Because if there were thoughts, then you would be dreaming.
That's right. Yeah.
So there were no thoughts.
Yeah.
Because there are no thoughts, there is no misery.
Okay.
See?
Sometimes that you dream, but you don't remember that dream.
Doesn't matter, but you will know that you had some dream which you are not remembering.
Some dream.
Yeah.
So you can have very short dreams also, because what is dream in the end? Unfinished thoughts of the waking state being flushed out of your system when you go to sleep. That's all it is.
Swamiji, isn't that a subconscious state of the mind?
Yes, it is. No doubt. It is subconscious state. So from the gross state, going to dream is subconscious state, and when you go to deep sleep, it is causal state.
It's not unconscious.
No, not unconscious.
Okay.
Because if it was unconscious, you will not be able to know that you were sleeping last night. Isn't it? So it is not unconscious. You are not in a coma. In coma, we can say that it is unconscious. But here it is unmanifest state of the mind.
Coma different from deep sleep? If mind is at rest both places, mind's not working.
Mind is not working in both places. I don't know.
You have to go into coma.
I never been into a coma. I never been to a coma. Been into a coma.
You can ask somebody who's come out of coma.
Were you happy?
But do you no think? I'm thinking. Do you feel like going into coma every night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is coma, Swami?
I'm asking.
Yeah, the coma is like you don't remember anything, that you don't even know where you are and what thoughts are. And if that is coma, the deep sleep also should be the coma actually.
But I think the difference is how you get into it.
The body is not God.
So when you go into sleep, you prepare for sleep.
Yeah.
Most of us, okay? Abnormal people don't. But wherever कहीं पे भी आ जाता है, coma, it can be induced.
It's not natural.
It's or something happens and one person goes into coma. But yes, it is also it could be an empty state of mind but we don't know. But we don't know. It is an unknown.
Maybe it's not.
After coming out of deep sleep, you say that I was in deep sleep. After coming out of coma, you don't say that I was in coma. Nobody till now has come and said that I was in coma.
But what?
The state may be the same.
Yeah, because we say
But we don't know. Because see, people have been in coma. I have read some instances, but they have been to different worlds.
Yeah.
So clinically they are in coma, but mentally they are in some other world. They have gone to Hanumanji, they have gone to Vaikunth, they have gone to heaven, and then they come back, or they have gone into their past lives, but for a doctor, he is in coma. You see? In coma, the body does not move at all. In deep sleep, body can move. Remember this. The person is not holding on to the body, but for some moments here and there, it will turn, it will whatever. But in coma, the body is just lying. The breath is moving, going on, but the body is just like still, absolutely.
And they might be able to hear also. So that's what they say. Like it's not there in deep sleep, you won't hear it definitely. Anything.
Now, just now I went, when I had the surgery for the knee, they said, only 10-minute surgery, 15-minute surgery. I said, Acha. Then now we are going to give you morphine. So I said, can't you give me local anesthesia? They said, no, if we give you local anesthesia and suppose rest of the body wants to move and then you move the leg, then what will happen? Then instead of cutting this, I'll cut that. I said, okay. So I was absolutely alert. And he said 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. And I could, the moment the gas came, and I am breathing, I am knowing that slowly my thoughts are going. I am holding, I am अपने को force कर रहा हूँ कि नहीं जाना है, I will break this. kahan gayab ho, where I vanished, I don't know. When I got up, I was in my bed in the room. You see? And that time is absent from my when we come out of deep sleep, at least we say that we had a deep sleep. But this particular thing, when I came out, I don't even have a memory of having a deep sleep. That whole time is as if taken out of my life. Same thing happens in coma also. In deep sleep it doesn't happen that. You know you were sleeping. That analysis will come afterwards. So here the teacher concludes that joy is that, or sukham is that, which is devoid of its opponent, dukkham. It is unhindered by any obstacle. What is the obstacle? Whether it be of the object of the world, or any ailment of the body, or any emotion, or any concept, idea, thought, anything. There is no obstruction, then the joy comes. And this is true even about the joy that you gain from the objects of the world. Now we are not just talking about deep sleep. Now that analysis will begin slowly in few minutes. Another question is raised. If sleep were not to give joy, why should people give so much attention to prepare comfortable beds? Now this is more pertaining to our daily preparation for the going to sleep. Huh? If sleep were not to give joy, huh? Why would people give so much preparation? Mahattara prayasena mrudushayadi sadhanam kuta sampadyate suptau sukham chetatra no bhavet. Should there be no bliss gained in the deep sleep, why and what for do we put in a lot of efforts and a lot of preparation for sleeping, such as acquiring a soft bed, etc.? You look at it whole day. Why you are toiling the whole day at work? To get some money. What do you do with that money? Buy good clothes, buy a good house, put the downlights. Then while going to sleep, dim the downlights. And or put it on timer that when I am sleeping, when I have gone to sleep, it automatically goes off. Then you want the bed, if it was high, now you want it low. Why? Because the knees are weak. Then you want a certain firmness or softness of the bed. Then sheet should not be 150 threads count. It should be 400. No, 400. This is also a bit bad. 1000. 1000. It should be 1000. Now, when you touch, after one or two washes, it becomes ekdam malmal, soft. Why? It feels so cozy, nice inside. For what? For going to sleep. So the student is perplexed. Why do we prepare do all this preparation? On this point, the student raises a doubt. Dukkha nasharthame vaitada iti chedrogiнаstatha bhavatvarogiणस्त्वेतत् sukhayaiveti nischinu. This soft bed, etc., is for the removal of sorrows. If this is argued, yes, it can be accepted with reference to a sick person. However, Healthy person also seeks soft bed, etc. So we may conclude they are meant for happiness. If you say that all this preparation of soft bed, etc. is only for the removal of misery and not for attaining bliss, the teacher says it is so only for those who are not well, who are suffering from some ailments, but it is not exclusively so. The student again, the healthy people also go to sleep not because they are unhappy, but just to have sukha anubhuti, just to have the experience of joy in the deep sleep or the experience of bliss in the deep sleep. The bliss of Brahman, which is experienced by every one of us in deep sleep. And now here is saying a point arises from the above discussion. Is not the preparation of bed Vaishayika Sukha, joy born out of objects? Now he explains that. Tarhi sadhana janyatvad, tarhi sadhana janyatvad, sukham vaishayikam bhavet, sukham vaishayikam bhavet, bhavat vetat, bhavat vevatra nidrayaha, bhavat vevatra nidrayaha, purvam shayyasanadijam. Now from here onwards, from verse 41 onwards, the analysis of deep sleep begins. So the teacher says, in that case, the happiness resulting from the object is certainly an objective happiness and not the bliss of the self. Yes, in the present context, this happiness before the deep sleep is certainly an objective happiness born out of comfort of soft bed, etc. This is true, we agree. Whenever there is a desire of something, if I have a desire for camera, till the desire is on, the switch is on in the mind, till then there will be misery, there will be a eagerness, there will be a activity in order to procure that camera. Once the camera is gained, then what happens?
So that means
Mind
there
is
is a
at rest.
The desire subsides. The desire was the reason that you are miserable. So that, what is your natural nature? That of bliss. Because there was a desire, that bliss was corrupted. That bliss was not able to flow through in and through out of you, because that desire was the blockade. Now that desire is satisfied, immediately that barrier has fallen down, and that bliss, which is your natural nature, which is continuously flowing, now there is nothing to block it, so that becomes your experience. See? And this is how we experience every object in our life, including the bed, including going into the duna. Before the preparation, they are talking about the preparation for going to sleep. See?
So all these examples are to the mind only, at the mind level.
Yes, exactly. Because who is
So the
experiencing?
experiencer, yeah.
See, if there is a desire, how do you satisfy your desire? Desire is nothing but a thought, agree? And that thought is about some object. So naturally there is a triad. There is a desirer, there is a desired object, and there is a desiring that is going on. Now the moment that object is gained, that very moment this triad, this triputi dies momentarily. The moment it dies, that is the barrier. That barrier falls down. The moment it falls down, that bliss which was your nature, it becomes self-evident. Then there is no need to have a thought. Nobody has ever experienced any joy because of a thought. all the thoughts that come about your bliss after you have experienced bliss, not while experiencing bliss. Because the ego owns it afterwards. The jiva owns it. But when you are experiencing, there is absolute silence within. Because the mind, that this triputi has, with regards to this, but as Amma said, subconscious mind is very lively. The moment camera goes, then the next one comes, computer. Then the next one, then the next one. There is no end to it till you have not trained it.
The thought appears when there's a separation, isn't it?
Thought appears when there is a duality.
Yes.
But coming of a thought or not coming of a thought is not a problem in our life. Understand this. It has got nothing to do with who you are. It is a phenomenon. If life is expressing through this body, thoughts will come. You cannot avoid them. Now we are trying to, here in this chapter, we are trying to come to to recognize our essential nature, which is that of bliss. How to recognize that? How to be that? Not only recognize, because if I recognize, then it is something else other than me. But here the question is, it is me alone. So that is the process that is being shown. Now you were asking something?
Swami, that every time when you desire fulfilled, so we experience bliss. Is that what-
Don't you? Just now you asked a question.
No, but that
No,
means-
suppose.
Yeah.
Suppose.
I feel happy.
No,
that-
suppose.
Yeah. But suppose.
No, suppose. That I do not allow you to ask the question that is going on in your head right now.
Okay.
The immediate example.
Okay.
Suppose I don't allow you.
Yeah.
For some time you will try to express that question.
Yes.
But now I already told you what I am doing, so you know the game.
Yes, I understand
You know the
that.
game plan. But
Yeah.
the moment you ask that question,
Yeah.
at that very moment, that question it's come out of your system. You feel a sense of peace.
Yes.
That churning which was going on, it is out. Now it is the responsibility of the teacher to answer or not answer. Then
Yes.
a new level of joy is experienced when you get the answer which you are looking for.
But
Isn't it?
Yes. The difference between the bliss and the happiness, that's what I was trying to ask you.
Bliss is your nature,
Yeah.
and happiness, which is an opposite of joy, but we have given that name for our understanding.
So it is not bliss, it is actually the
It's actually bliss only, because once the misery is removed, what is left behind is the bliss.
So in
But
context-
that bliss which comes and goes, we are calling it joy.
Okay.
Which is not, till we have not experienced a permanent state of joy, which never comes and goes. That joy which never comes and goes is known as bliss, the ananda. That joy which comes and goes, that happiness which comes and goes, we are calling it as joy. See? So deep sleep also is relative because it is coming and going.
Yeah.
It is coming and going. It is not permanent. It is not permanent. So this, where were we? Tarhi sukham sadhana janyatvat vishayikam bhavet. Then it appears as if the sukham or comfort resulting from comfortable mattress and such like accessories is a happiness born out of objects, and it is not of the nature of Brahmananda. This is because of our inverted or misunderstanding. We have not been taught, we have not been told, we have not analyzed our joy, we have not looked that where is the joy coming from? Is it coming from the objects? Is it coming from the satisfaction of the desires? Or, yes, the desires may be getting satisfied, but where is the joy coming from? Is it coming from the camera or is it coming from within, which is my nature? Because if it was coming from an object, then if I am enjoying food, then I should continue to eat food 24/7, 365 days a year. But I don't do that. Then it is not in that. Then where is it coming from? See? So that's the question the teacher here is putting in front of our mind. That inquire. That every joy that you, every desire that you experience or its fulfillment thereof is because of the Triputi. And when the Triputi dies, you experience the bliss. That bliss is not because of the Triputi. Triputi can never experience bliss. It can only experience joy which comes and goes. And that also it cannot, but it owns it. The joy is only from within, from your essential self alone. But it, as if, like someone does something and the boss says, today's scenario in universities, the students write the PhD and the supervisor publishes it in his name. So the bliss is of the self and the ego takes the credit. And that also he doesn't do that. He says, I enjoyed. But there also he makes a mistake. He puts that joy in the basket of the objects. He starts thinking that in the objects is the joy. He's still not catching that it is from his own essential nature. And that is the fault of the Triputi. When it is tamasic, it is very gross. When it is rajasic, it will look for experiences, it will look for mystical phenomena within. And when it is sattvic, then it may, by grace of God, start recognizing. Because this is a big, huge step. Not everyone can understand this. If you are understanding, great. Because here there is nothing to hold on to. Deep sleep is not an object to hold on to. It is not an object. So in this way, the teacher says, what you say is true, that before we have entered into deep sleep, the sukham born out of the mattress, seat, etc. are definitely dependent on vishayas or objects. Preparatory to getting into deep sleep, all these material adjuncts may be needed, and that is definitely Vishayi Sukham. That is not the joy of the self, but it is the joy which we have gained, which we are experiencing on account of the objects. True, that joy may be from within, but it is because of the objects, on account of the objects. It's not due to it's not a direct experience of the self. True. It's not even direct experience of the deep sleep. It is just an object. उसको आने दो जरा सत्संग के लिए. But is deep sleep what makes one blissful? Now this is the question. Now this indirectly I have already told you what is going to come here. Nidrayam tu sukham yattata, nidrayam tu sukham yattata, janyate kena hetuna, janyate kena hetuna, sukhabhimukha dhirādau, सुखाभिमुखधीरादौ पश्चात् मज्जेत परे सुखे पश्चात् मज्जे परे सुखे. See this Vishayi Sukh, the joy gained out of, on account of objects, is only possible as long as we are identified with the body. Only as long as we are identified with the body. See? Now, what is your definition of Vishaya? What is your definition of Vishaya? Vishaya means object. What is your definition of object will determine your experience. If your definition of objects is the objects of the world, then that will be the one. If your objective world is the emotions, imaginations, fantasies, then it's the subtle world. See? If your object is, we may use this word but it is not a correct statement. If your object is unmanifestation, some people say void, emptiness, then that becomes your object of contemplation. Isn't it? Any mind must be empty, mind must be empty, mind must be. But what will you do with an empty mind? You have to know yourself, not just know the empty mind. Mind goes empty so many times during the day. So this is the first stage now that is given. Nidrayam tu sukham yattata janyate kena hetuna sukha vimukhadhiradau paschat majjet pare sukhe. In that case, with what means is the bliss of deep sleep created? The student is asking. The teacher answers, first one gets bliss oriented before sleep. First one gets bliss oriented before sleep. Very important. Through means like soft bed, etc., and subsequently gets absorbed in the supreme bliss in the self in deep sleep. So, there are stages. How do you go to work? Get out of the bed and straight to work. There are some people. Huh? Why brush in the morning? Why brush in the morning? After food, I have to brush again anyway. So, the dirty mouth, they will eat the food. They don't know what damage they are doing to themselves. Someone says, why after breakfast? I have to eat lunch also and dinner also. After dinner, I will brush. So, every night they will brush, but in the morning, they will not brush. I come across people like that. Same thing, lot of people take bath in the night, not in the morning. So, here he says, so what is the preparation? In the morning you get up, you brush your teeth, go to toilet, take a shower, wear your clothes. For what for? To go to work. Why you want to go to work in that manner? Because you feel good about yourself, isn't it? Fill petrol in the car. No, I don't want to fill petrol. You will not be able to go. Now I'll go bare feet. Try. So all preparation. If you are going today, one of the boys has gone for an interview. Normally in his chaddis and his banyan, he is roaming around. But today, polished shoes, crisp pant with crease and a wonderful tie and a suit, and we dropped him at the Springwell Road, and all the best, yes Swamiji, and wonderful hairstyle and everything, and ready. Why don't you go just like without any preparation? For everything you prepare. For food also you prepare. I eat raw, but even that raw, you take it out of the fridge, that is preparation. Peeling is preparation. Cutting it and eating it raw is also preparation. If you don't have teeth, you can't eat, then you will mash. It is preparation. For every damn thing in life we prepare. So also for deep sleep we prepare. What is the preparation? That after the class you go home, argue with your husband or wife for a little bit, what was said and what was not said. And after that, in that some sort of semblance, you go to your altar, do namaskar, get into your night clothes. Then you think, should I wear cotton ones or should I wear flannel ones? What is the temperature? Flannel ones. Okay, flannel ones is very soft. Then get inside. For that also, today I'll sleep on the left hand side. No, I want to sleep on the right hand side. That is my place. So you will get in there. Then that is also not done. Then you will get into the bed. Then the night lamp is on. You have a habit of not going to sleep without reading at least one page of some book. Some people have, or some people meditate, or some people do japa. You will do that, and then slowly slide into the bed. Then push this way, this way. All this is preparation. Get the right position. And somewhere while you are doing all this, when the right perfect position comes, you watch yourself tonight. Suddenly everything, at least bodily, feels settled. That you can let go of the body now. Because it has found the correct position. That position, if the leg is like this and this is heavy, it is not correct position. Then you try this, then you do this, then you do that. Some position you will find where you feel absolutely comfortable. In that comfort, you are ready to give up the body identification. It's a preparation. For meditation also we do the same thing, isn't it? We take a particular position, and then in that particular position, through pranayam, etc., japa sadhana, we go beyond body identification. That bliss, which is the content of deep sleep, where the gross world and the gross body, the subtle world and the subtle body have been disowned, can it be derived from any objects? It is not possible. There cannot be any Vishaya Sukham in deep sleep since sense organs are dormant. In deep sleep, this seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting is not functional. In deep sleep, emotions are not erupting. In deep sleep, concepts, ideas, imaginations are not being active. All this has become dormant. All this has become sublimated. All this has become unmanifest. All this has become disidentified. Mind has become disidentified. It's the same mind which is becoming unmanifest. It is the same mind which is becoming manifest, isn't it? Mind is becoming unmanifest, mind is becoming manifest. So that mind is itself dropping away all objectivity, gross, subtle, and gliding as if it is on a trajectory, it is on a, just like the rocket needs a critical force to leave the gravity of the earth. Exactly the same way, to leave the gravity of body identification, to leave the gravity of mind, obsession of the mind with something or the objectivity, there is a certain gravity required, and that gravity is not a force. It is a forceless force, and that forceless force is your focus on bliss. That forceless force is your focus on bliss. See? What made you come to here today? Your focus that I have to go to the satsang, therefore all activities since you came from work must have been geared around it. so that you can be here for the class, isn't it? Exactly the same way, when your focus is on deep sleep, then every activity gets geared towards so that you can go into that state of bliss. It is not possible to derive this bliss from the objects. There cannot be any Vishaya Sukham in deep sleep since sense organs are dormant. So now you see here, be very careful. For analysis, we have before taken the manifest mind and unmanifest mind, right? Manifest mind and unmanifest mind. When we talk about that, did you experience the waking state yesterday? Yes, it is in my memory. Did you experience the dream state last night? Yes. I can't remember what the dream was, but for some moments I was in there. Do you have the experience of the deep sleep yesterday? Yes. We also say that, isn't it? That we also say that, even though there are no thoughts. But deep sleep state is coming and going. Deep sleep state is coming and going. Don't think that bliss is in deep sleep. That's the point that I am coming to. Just like bliss is not in the objects of the world, bliss is not in the experiences of the dream, similarly bliss is not in the no thought state of the mind. Bliss is the nature of the self. Why is it experienced in the deep sleep? Because there is nothing to obstruct it there. There is nothing to obstruct it. By way of thoughts, by way of senses, by way of objectivity. You understand?
We also say that, Swamiji, dropping at the dream stage.
Say that again.
It's like when the desire fulfilled, that we just said, it's like a bliss, that we experience a bliss. So when you go in the deep sleep, that we say that we have bliss. That could that be that from the dream stage, I'm dropping of the dream stage. That means that's what it brings up the bliss.
No, bliss is not a result of any cause.
Yes, yes.
It doesn't have a cause. Bliss is your nature. Your nature is causeless. See, that is why I said it is very subtle. It is not because of the dream state.
Yes.
Here you will take dream state as a state of sorrow, which is not allowing you to experience bliss.
Bliss, yes.
But when the bliss comes, there is no thought, so how can you come to know?
Yeah.
And yet, when you wake up in the morning, you know you had a deep sleep. You understand what we are saying? In the waking state, you can see the objectivity. You can get Vishaya Sukham.
Yeah.
In dream also it is Vishaya Sukham, but at a subtle level.
Yes.
I agree?
Yeah.
Because everything is, the experiencer is a thought, the experienced is a thought.
Yeah.
Agree? Here the mind, we are the thinkers and the object is separate to us, isn't it? But in dream everything is mind alone.
Yes. Yeah.
So there that becomes the barrier for not allowing the bliss to express. And when whatever is stopping the bliss becomes the source of, that is the sorrow.
Yeah.
So if you are dreaming all night, in the morning you will be very cranky. Anyone. And every one of our comment is, I had a very disturbed sleep last night, Baba. You know? I'm not fresh, isn't it? So that is sorrow, a subtle sorrow.
If the nature of self is bliss, then is it possible for the mind to be aware of the deep sleep state? or is it, how do, see, you can only say it's, we had a good sleep only after you get
Wake up.
So, is there any step within the mind which is aware of the deep sleep state?
But that is the question that I am supposed to ask you.
Oh,
That when you are in deep sleep and you don't have a mind, who is the one who is saying that I had the experience of sleep? Or that means sleep is not a state because there is no mind. Then who is experiencing that bliss? That is my question to you.
we asked already.
Well, good, that means you are on the right track. You are thinking or you are reading ahead. No, it's not there. This thought is not there at the moment. Huh? That is the question. Then who is the person? That person is not an idea. That person is not a concept. That person is you, because it is your own direct experience every morning that I had a good sleep.
But mind is not there at the time.
But mind is not there. And if mind, because we are identified with the mind and we are conditioned ourselves that only if there are thoughts then thinking is taking place, then how has this knowledge taken place that I had a good sleep? This is the equation that is to be solved. If this equation is solved, person is realized. If this equation is solved, person is realized. Everything will become crystal clear, here and now. It will not come through thinking. The conclusion or the result or the click, it is not going to be a result of more logic. It is not a result of logic. It is, you have to become subjective. Let the mind think, let the satsang go on, but you remain subjective. Everything that was just now discussed, that who is this, don't look who, wait, you. It's you, the one who is alive. Then if I am the one, then how come I am thinking that I can't be without thoughts? Now that is your problem. You solve that.
Swamiji, what is mind? Mind is with the cluster of thoughts. Thoughts, when the thoughts...
Not cluster of thoughts.
No, when a thought is
Flow
there,
of thoughts.
Yeah, when the thought is there, that is a mind. So, you also can have thoughtless mind.
That is deep sleep.
That's deep sleep.
Or meditation.
So that means
Or coma.
we still say that as a mind, isn't it? Thoughtless mind. That means there is something there.
Yes.
Reflected consciousness.
Yeah, it is there. We have now. Why everyone is going on drinks and booze and ice and drugs, etc.? They want to become thoughtless. They can't handle their own thoughts. That's why everyone is looking for all these drugs. Everyone wants to get into that state. And it is not because they want to. They have been programmed that way. That phenomena, this phenomena called this body, mind, intellect phenomena, it wants to always go back to its own source. Always wants to go back into its source. So deep sleep, in deep sleep, it is closest to its own source, this phenomena. But it doesn't know it while it is happening. Only next day it comes to know. While it is happening, he doesn't know. In meditation, he is able to know as it is taking place. In coma, he is not able to come to know this phenomena.
But in the morning, that because we identify with the mind, that's why we say we had a nice sleep.
No.
Yeah, we had a nice sleep because that we feel restful and.
Yeah, but you identified, you are a waker in the morning and you have a waking mind,
Yeah, that's what
and
I'm
waker
saying.
was not present in deep sleep.
Yeah.
Then who is making the statement? How can waker talk about the deep sleep or the dream state? It cannot be the waker. Think. So in that split of a second, the Atma, from the Atma, your own self-knowledge is expressing through. It is not the waker who is speaking. It's the self. Suppose you are a wife and you are a mother and you are a daughter and you are a sister. How quickly you swap the roles when you are talking about. The moment you talk about your sister, immediately the sister role comes up. The next moment you will talk about them, but you will change the roles. How you are able to do that?
Because I'm that.
No, because you are none of those roles. That's why you are able to do that. It's a totally different way of thinking. Because you are none of those roles, therefore you are able to take different positions. Agree? Because without you as the person, those roles have got no meaning. Isn't it? So you have the freedom to think as a sister or think as a wife or think as a mother or think as a daughter or think of none of them. Exactly the same way. The same reality, sometimes it expresses as if, as the waker, as the dreamer, as the deep sleeper, but there are times, many times during the day, that it expresses as its own essential self. Many times during the day. Now we don't have the acumen to recognize this. Satsang is to recognize this, that it is already happening to you. Between every two thoughts it is happening. Between every two breaths it is happening. See? We are on verse 42nd, isn't it? We are still on the bed. We haven't got, you took me into the deep sleep state, we are still on the bed. And under the duna. So, that bliss which is the content of deep sleep, where the gross world and the gross body, the subtle world and the subtle body have been disowned, can it be derived from any object? It is not possible. There cannot be any Vishaya Sukham in deep sleep since sense organs are dormant. So, here they are taking it from the point of Vishaya Sukham, meaning experience, joy gained on account of some object. We have gone too far ahead. So here, joy gained on account of any object in deep sleep is not possible because the mind has already dropped all the objects. So what happens then? The mind and the thoughts turn towards the bliss within. The mind is also looking for its source. The thoughts or desires, they are also looking for joy or bliss all the time. So if it is not possible through the world, after toiling 20 hours or 18 hours a day, it gets exhausted. Every day it gets exhausted. That's why it wants to go to sleep. That's why after work it wants to go to the pub. That is why it wants to go. Because it is missing the joy. It is missing the bliss. Enough. बहुत हो गया. I can't handle it anymore. I need to relax. What is relax? Liquid spirituality or go to sleep. As if finding its own source. First of all, Buddhi turns towards Atmananda or Brahmananda, and after that, gradually it enters and merges into the supreme bliss that we are. That is our own real abode. That is where we get recharged. recharging of the mind does not take place because of satisfaction of desires. Understand this. It does not take place because of satisfaction of desire. Because if that was the truth, then you would not want to go to sleep.
And plus, desire is only to the mind level.
Huh?
Desire is only to the mind level. The bliss is within.
Bliss is our own essential nature. And no equipment, this is an equipment, body is an equipment, senses are an equipment, mind is an equipment, intellect is an equipment. It cannot, as much as data you give it, it is still not satisfied. If you put too much data, the other day I was having this 1 terabyte thing, I put too much data, didn't leave enough space, and then I wanted to burn something, it crashed. Same thing happens to us every night. We crash. I am ready to crash now, isn't it? Why? Because overload. Overload. This is one way of looking at it. Second way of looking at it is, even if you have not had any overload throughout the day, suppose you are a lazy bugger.
Unload it.
No, if you are lazy,
You want to unload it.
unload what? If you are not, no, I am taking a second example now. I am taking a second example where you have got nothing to do, you are not busy in the world, you are not, no responsibilities. And then what do? I want to crash now. Whole day you are only crashing, again you want to crash. But he still has a desire to sleep.
Isn't it because of there's nothing to get the joy or anything? The Mahatmas like Ramana Maharshi and all, they're ever in bliss, like, isn't it?
No, we have to start with wanting the bliss. If you didn't have the desire for self-realization or God realization, would you come to the satsang? Then satsang cannot hold that attraction for you if you don't have that desire for self-realization. You understand? That is very important. But when you come to this point, you have to give up that desire also.
Yeah, correct. That's what I'm trying.
That is in the end.
Yeah.
In the end. But initial stages, you have to keep it. But here, where we are giving up every desire. And this is happening every day to you. Remember this. And this is how every morning we get recharged. Just like batteries get recharged, electric cars get recharged, this car also get recharged. Every night it needs that time in the vicinity of the, I can't even use the word vicinity. It's not just the vicinity. It has to merge into the self. The mind needs to go back to its source. Not just you and me. Even Brahmaji has to do the same thing. Every end of every kalpa, he has to go back to his source. Because he gets tired after 74 yugas. Yeah, every yuga is 74 cycles of yuga have come and gone. Pasina nikal gaya. He also goes back to his source. Gets recharged. For to do what?
How can you fast track the going back
No,
to
but what does he need to get recharged for?
Start all over.
So that again when he comes out, he creates the creation as an offering to his own source. So every morning when you are waking up, are you offering the whole day that you are going to express, that you are going to achieve, that you are going to act out, put efforts? Is that the thought in the morning? I am refreshed. Now I am ready to offer the whole day to the Lord. So here we begin. That if that attitude is there, that's why in the morning we light the lamp. There's a science behind it. It's not just superstition. That's why we become fresh, we become clean. Then we go to light the lamp and offer the day at the feet of the Lord. First remember Him, and after having offered, then we get out of the house. And if we have forgotten sometime during the day to offer Him, we come back, again clean up ourselves, and again, if I have forgotten you sometime during the day, again we light the lamp and offer that to the for the inadvertent forgetfulness. What is the time? 3 times I have seen, but I can't remember. 8:52. Okay. Now the continuing. Jagrad vyaprutti bhishranto. Jagrad vyaprutti bhishranto. Vishramyatha virodhini. Vishramyatha virodhini. Apanite swastha chitto. Swastha chitto. Anubhaved vishaye sukham. Anubhaved vishaye sukham. A person, jiva, tired and exhausted due to various undertakings in the worldly affairs, having relaxed on the bed and thereafter having given up all the sorrows and tiredness which are opponents of joy, he becomes fully relaxed and comforted. Then he experiences the joy in the objects like bed, etc. Who are those people who turn left and right on the bed? Who still are attached to something that they have done or they still have to do in the world, isn't it? The mind is not able to drop it. Then who is able to enjoy the bed? Who has dropped that? We just talked about this whole thing, and in this way, so it's a conscious journey. In meditation also we do exactly the same thing and continue to remain awake when the mind becomes unmanifest. Here, mind is becoming unmanifest, but we become ignorant about it. But till that point where you get sucked into the deep sleep, till that point, what you are doing every night is exactly what you need to do in meditation. Acha Swamiji, so we have the freedom to take the bed and the doona and the cushion and start. All that will happen is sleep again. You have to sit and do it. As a result, he wants to rest and relax and goes and lies down on a comfortable bed, etc., preparatory to entering the deep sleep. This is all preparation. Before, it's not that he is going to enter into deep sleep. Deep sleep will suck him in. But what is he has done? He is keeping his attention on deep sleep. The mind is putting attention on the deep sleep state, which is a no-thought state, which is, how does he know what is deep sleep? Because yesterday's sleep, it was a no-thought state. He knows that it was a no-thought state, and I feel refreshed after that experience. So he wants to be sucked in. You want to be sucked into love. You want to be sucked in by ambition. You want to be sucked in by expansion. You want to be sucked in by siddhis. It's not siddhis. You want to suck. You want to be sucked in into marriage. You want to sucked into fatherhood or parenthood. You allow yourself to be consumed by that. Everything that you do in this world, this is how it is happening. So here, in deep sleep state, because we are continuously thinking about that deep sleep state, we allow the mind to be consumed by the deep sleep state. And in that consummation, even the last remnants of thoughts or of the world, they also go away. But while coming to the bed, we have consciously dropped all of them. Because where is our attention? on the comfort, on the sleep. Our attention is on the sleep. In the mind in which there is no worry about loss or gain, no planning, nothing to be achieved, there are no thoughts, no tensions can result. Such a mind regenerates its own ability. When the mind is calm, the person starts enjoying the bliss. If you can remain like this 24 hours a day, then it does not matter you are awake or you are sleeping. It does not matter. In Gita it says the yogi, he is awake. He is awake when the world sleeps and he sleeps when the world is awake. This is what it is. See? So that sleeping is he is awake does not mean that he is like an owl at night. Whoa, whoa. He is not like that. He is even aware of his deep sleep state. He is aware of his own essential nature, even when the mind has become unmanifest. So it does not matter to a realized master or a yogi whether the mind is manifest or the mind is unmanifest. He is ever abiding in his own essential nature. That yogi was being talked about in those verses. What is the nature of the Vishayananda that he enjoys before he enters the deep sleep? Atma bhimukhadhi vrittau. Atma bhimukhadhi vrittau. Swananda pratibimbati. Swananda pratibimbati. Anubhuyaina matrapi. Anubhuyaina matrapi. Triputya shranti mapnuyat. Triputya shranti mapnuyat. While experiencing Vishayananda, the bliss of the self is reflected in the quiet thought that is turned towards the self. Why are we thinking about sleep also? Because even the thought of sleep is giving us joy, isn't it? That's why we are thinking about it. Otherwise we wouldn't think about it. In this experience also, the happiness born out of contact with objects is experienced, though the trio of experiencer, experience and experienced, because of this trio, the jiva feels exhausted and tired. So, when we, as regards the waking and the dream state, the trio, the triad, the knower, known and the knowing, this trio is functioning, but in the case of the deep sleep, this trio is absent. And as I told you before, because we jumped, so this trio is the barrier, not allowing the natural bliss, which is our essential nature, to naturally flow through. And when does the trio come about? When there is identification. And in this way, when the individual enjoys the comfort of the bed, how does he enjoy the Vishaya Sukham? For the enjoyment of objects, the triputty of enjoyer, objects and enjoyment are essential. When the buddhi is slowly turning towards its own source, Atma Abhimukha, in that calm and quiet mind, one's own essential nature, which is of the nature of bliss, is reflected. See, today I went to one children's class, one child who used to come to me, Swamiji, please come, please. I said, what is there? No, all grandparents, my grandparents are not here, so you come. So I went as a grandparent. And they were doing an experiment. What? Why is the sky blue? Why is the sky blue? I don't get. Tell me, why is the sky blue?
It's infinite.
No. Oh, you have studied somewhere, infinite's color is blue. Yes. But why is the sky blue?
The
Length of?
wavelength of that blue color is long, so you see that.
So,
So
go outside into the space, there is no blue color.
sunlight, isn't it?
So, where is the blue color? Scientist, engineer?
The blue colour,
It's a wavelength.
it's the radiation from
Ah?
it's the result of the ozone layer. The ultraviolet light reflects, changes to blue.
Yeah, but sun's light is sun's light, but what happens?
Because of that certain atmospherical content.
See? So sun's light comes into the Earth's atmosphere, and in the Earth's atmosphere there are particles and dust particles and molecules. It refracts, and when it refracts, some people say it refracts, but actually each molecule or that particle, it enters into that, and the moment it enters, it comes out again as the color of the light, because each molecule there is acting as a prism. And if it is straight up, the sun is straight up, it will be blue, and as it comes towards the evening or the morning, it is dark, red or orange or yellow, etc., etc. All those colors come. See? What was the reason of not seeing clear light? Can you see clear light? Can you see sun's light? No, sun's light has got no color. So what are you seeing? Refracted light. You are seeing the whip color because of the refraction. Sun's light has got no color. Similarly, this Paramatma, come back to the point, we are not into that classroom. This Paramatma also is free of everything. But when it refracts through the knower known knowing, through the particles of the mind called thoughts, through the various emotions, through the object, the various bodies, intellectual body, mental body, gross body, the different that refraction is what we are experiencing. But we are not experiencing him as it is. So you have to come back, and you are that. We are identified with the refracted colors. We are identified with the what is coming out. But you are the one who is. See? आज ही हुआ है. So you are the one who is. And when that you pass through those thoughts, then whatever is the quality of that thought, whatever is the capacity of that thought, whatever is the character of that thought, whatever is the intensity of that thought, that will get reflected out, isn't it? So don't mistake yourself to be that which is getting reflected. You be the one who is the one without a second. And in this manner, we just conclude this. In their calm and quiet mind, one's own essential nature, which is of the nature of the bliss, is reflected. This is Vishayananda. The Vishayas do not have Ananda, but in that calm and unagitated mind, Atmananda is reflected perfectly well, and one imagines it to be because of that object. I explained this. Whenever a desire is satisfied, whenever a desire for an object is satisfied, at that very moment, the Triputi, the knower known, the desirer, desired and desiring, all of it stops. That wanting stops. The moment wanting stops, your essential nature, clear light flows through. And that is the bliss. And in this state also, this Atmananda is experienced as a reflection, not in original, in the buddhi because of the comforts. So in the deep sleep what happens? It is experienced as a reflection, not as a real one, because it's a unmanifest state. But in this Vishayananda, the problem of the Triputi remains. The Atmananda is not in its natural state. It is as if split into three components. We have talked about that. Therefore, whatever be the material comfort, the individual gets tired of the Triputi and wants to drop it and enter into deep sleep. This Vishayananda is that where the trio of the experiencer, experience, and the object of experience are very much present. So in the world, in the experience of joy on account of the objects of the world, the trio is always there. Always. And that is the finite joy which comes and goes. Now what is the third stage? We will talk about it in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for 2-3 minutes. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari